Welcome back. So it's been an eventful few days. This is the day after the last storm. Now we came down here yesterday during that storm, not realising how bad the wind gusts were going to be, and we wanted to make a start on some of the projects because the site is a complete mess. There is stuff everywhere that is going to be used for some of these projects. And until we start the projects, we can't clear up the mess. If we just dump it all in the shed, it's going to make it even more difficult to find the bits and pieces we need when we start. So we've started on a couple of projects. Now, as you know, we collect a lot of trampoline parts, and from previous pictures, you've probably seen all the piles of different sizes that we have all over the plot. Now we were going to use them for different things, so we're using them for our chicken coop run for the roof, so we can attach actual chicken wire mesh to, a climbing section for our squashes, and for our new polytunnel. So one of the projects that we started yesterday was our new climbing area for some of the squashes that will be growing next year. But we got to a certain stage, couldn't film because of how windy it was, and it was trying to blow the camera over, and we had sheets of metal and plastic from other allotments actually flying through the air trying to kill us. So in the end we only got a certain amount done. So I thought today we'd come back and I'd show you exactly what we've done and how far we've got and what's left to do. So this is our new area for where some of our squashes, mainly urticuri, is going to be planted and grown up over the arch. As you can see, it leads down between the actual allotments. I think these are 6-foot hoops from that old trampoline that we've used. And because we keep all the spare parts to it, all the straight poles that you get with the netting and the legs and things like that, we were able to actually push this into the ground, or hammer it into the ground as we built it, so it's nice and secure. Now, we couldn't complete this yesterday because of how bad the weather was, but today we need to put our wooden battens across the top to give the frame some actual strength, so it can withhold all these blustery storms that we actually just keep on getting here. And then we're going to be putting chicken wire up and over so the plants have something to grip onto, and hopefully it'll make it a little bit more secure, because last summer we had such strong winds that we actually had quite a few taller plants collapse and fall and actually break the bamboo canes. So that's exactly what we're going to get done today, and at least that's some of the parts that we've got lying around that we can actually clear off the floor of the plot. So now we've actually just got to strengthen this up with these little pieces of wood that we've got. It won't be the strongest structure in the world, but it will be strong enough for the needs that we actually have. And it will end up being a lot stronger than some of the things that you can actually buy in the shops to actually grow plants and vegetation up. Hopefully this works out okay. Now, we don't recommend doing it like this. This is serious health and safety nightmare. But we need to get a job done. So that's the first one. Let's see if we can actually manage the second. Now these are getting screwed into the brackets that actually came with the trampoline. We didn't actually have to buy these separately. Now we seriously don't recommend these types of ladders when you're doing this kind of thing. They're not very secure at all. So going through our scraps that we got from our trampoline parts, we actually kept all the little bit of fixings, and we found these. Now these will actually help us put a piece of batten across here as well. That will give it a lot more strength than just the two at the top. So we're going to try using these. Now these will clamp on to these poles and then close it on tight, and then this will be screwed onto the batten on the inside. And we're hoping that this is going to work. But the thing is, when you're working with recyclable materials, you have to make do with whatever you can. We're not going to be paying for anything for this archway because all this was free, and the chicken wire was something that we're repurposing from a previous project. That's it with the battens on, and the structure is much stronger now. So those clamp little clip things that we had off the previous trampoline actually worked quite well. So now it's just the chicken wire, which I absolutely hate because I can't find my cutters to cut chicken wire, so I'll have to use some pliers. The quicker we get it done, the quicker I can warm up. And it just keeps on raining, but we should plod on. Now we have put these hoops the distance of this chicken wire, so we're actually able to cable tie it on. So if you are planning on building anything like this, make sure the distance between your hoops or structure is actually the same width or a little bit less than what the chicken wire is. Otherwise you'll end up with massive gaps in between where the areas of the chicken wire won't be supported. So now we just need to cable tie as we go. I'll cut here and come back to when we've actually finished doing the chicken wire tying in, because I don't think you need to see all that. And there we go. It's all done. It's all been secured with cable ties. This should actually give it even more strength. Now, it's hardly moving now when I push it. So those extra battens that we put on halfway down has given this structure some real strength. So I'm actually not worried about planting my squash plants or my urticuri or anything else that we're going to be growing up this throughout the year now. All made with recycled parts, and even the battens were off previous builds. So the only thing that we actually had to buy from this lot was actually the cable ties, but luckily we actually had quite a few of those already. So for us, this has been a complete free structure. And I'm hoping this is going to look spectacular next year when we grow some new stuff up it. So now this is all completed. We have left one of the beds in here. This will be more for our shade loving plants and plants that will happily grow early spring before the squashes really get going through the summer months. This side will probably be just wood chip and then having some pots on there so I can move stuff around. And then on the outside, either side, will be some no-dig beds that we'll actually start doing over the next couple of days using our own homemade compost. Now, if I can get hold of any horse manure or any cattle manure, I will do, because squashes love that really rich soil. So we'll have to see what I can actually get hold of over the coming weeks or two. But the squashes will be planted on the outside and they'll grow up, and hopefully I might be able to entice some of the flowers on the inside to get pollinated, so we'll actually have squashes hanging down on the inside. But we'll have to see how that goes, because this chicken wire is quite small compared to maybe the cattle grids that people use. But I can't wait to get this going in the spring months. So that's our one project completed for today. As it's that time of year, I hope you all have a really good Christmas, and I wish you all a good Merry Christmas, and to stay safe and get all that you want. and hopefully over the next week or two we'll be releasing more and more projects, the more things that we can actually finally get done. Of course, all depending on the British weather. So take care and enjoy your Christmas break, and we'll see you again very soon.